Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games.
Hey everyone, Ryan with the Game Boy Geek channel here. Origins Game Fair is right around the corner and I am pumped. There's a great number of cool games on the Board Game Geek preview list for the convention this year, and I've narrowed it down to the 10 that I'm most excited to check out. So I wanted to share that list with you and tell you why each game has caught my eye. Just a quick note that I've only included games that are actually released and available for sale, not upcoming or prototype games. Now, some of these are brand new titles, some are expansions, and a couple technically snuck in together. But hey, I'm excited and I get to make the rules, so let's go. Number 10 is Flashpoint Legacy of Flame. Back in 2010, Kevin Lansing gave us the original Flashpoint, and then in 2011, he re-implemented it as Flashpoint Fire Rescue. Now, in 2025, he's back with Flashpoint Legacy of Flame alongside 3 other designers, and it's being released by Indie Boards and Cards. Now, I'm not personally usually the biggest cooperative game player, but legacy games, I love a great legacy experience, especially when it's a legacy version of a game that's already stood the test of time, like Flashpoint. I think that's such a smart approach, and I'm really interested to see how they evolve the gameplay across the campaign. So while I don't know if I'll be able to run through the full legacy with the group right away, which is always the tricky part, I'm absolutely planning to check this out at Origins and see what they're cooking up. And at number 9, I've got Pillars of Heracles. I had actually never even heard of this game until I saw it in the Origins preview list, and it immediately caught my eye. It's from Grand Gamers Guild, who, by the way, sent me Ovation, which ended up being the first game I ever got to review on the Game Boy Geek channel. So thanks again to them. The ancient Greek theme is right up my alley, but what really draws me in here is the gameplay. It looks like a really sweet tie-in between deck building combined with a rondel action selection. And to that, I have to say yes, please. I'm also intrigued by the engine building and upgrading systems. There's a lot of potential here, and I'm excited to see if it's a game that will appease the gods. Number 8 brings us Core of Discovery. This one hits pretty close to home for me. Literally, it's from Off the Page Games, which is based right here in my city, Vancouver, Canada. That's right, let's go Canada. It's designed by Jay Cormier, the owner of Off the Page, along with Sen Fong Lim. These two are an incredible design duo. They've given us mind management, junk art, and more. The main reason I'm drawn to this one, I love deduction games, and with a pedigree like mind management, I've got high hopes for this one. I really want to see what kind of twist they've added to the deduction game this time. Definitely on my must-see list. Dropping in at number 7 is Grand Central Skyport. This game looks just plain fun. Nothing too crazy going on. It's from 25th Century Games and designed by Dan Germain. I love the cute, lighthearted theme. It just makes me want to sit down and play. But what really has me curious is the way the game handles interaction. You're building your own tableau, but you're also working with the shared action card row / rondel in the middle of the table. I'm always a fan of that kind of semi-shared resource tension. Excited to see how crunchy it actually gets. At number 6, I've got Iliad and Icor. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit by putting 2 games at number 6, but it's hard when you really like games and there are lots of good ones out there. But to be fair, these 2 games are part of the same series put out by Bitewing Games, and they're both designed by Reiner Knizia, so I'll allow it. Now, let me be honest, I'm not exactly Knizia's target audience. His games tend to be meaner and more interactive than I usually go for. That said, I've played a lot of his games because many of my gaming friends love that interaction and meanness. And yes, it does kind of hurt my feelings sometimes. However, while I don't always gravitate toward that style, I can't deny the brilliance of what Knizia does. He has put out a lot of bangers, so I'm always intrigued when I see his name pop up. And I'm also trying to have some good diversity on this list. But also, these 2 do look really fascinating and awesome. Iliad has tight tile play and some clever take-that planning that I'd love to give a shot. Also, Dan did a review of that game, which made me even more intrigued. You can watch that review right here. And I'm keen to try Icor because the asymmetrical powers layered into the game look pretty cool. I'm curious to see how much depth he's managed to squeeze into these 2 small box, 2-player abstracts. Sliding in at number 5 is Ascending Empires Zenith Edition. This is a re-implementation of a game that came out 14 years ago, which means I was still fairly fresh in the hobby back then and never got a chance to try it. So this is my shot. It's coming from Ian Cooper and a publisher called Play to Z, which I haven't played anything from before, so that's always fun. What caught my eye is that it's a dexterity flicking game, but not just a flick fest. You've got flicking, but also some fairly rich looking tech trees, upgrades, and a broader strategy element. It's kind of like Crokinole meets engine building. I don't usually go for dexterity games unless I'm playing Animal Upon Animal or Rhino Hero with my little daughters, but I'm pumped to give this one a shot. Sizzling in at number 4 is Inferno. Just when you think all the themes in board games have been done, here comes something wild. Inferno, another one from Grand Gamers Guild, designed by Fernando Eduardo Sanchez, takes you on a tour through hell. Literally. You're joining Dante himself and checking out all the different levels of suffering and torture. Sounds fun? Okay, maybe fun isn't the right word to describe it. But what intrigues me the most is the gameplay. There's a central track that drives your action, and it combos with other stuff on the board. And then there are multiplier tracks that you can build up over time. The tension and momentum in this system looks super satisfying. I'm looking forward to seeing if this game is fire. At an impressive number 3 is How to Save a World. This one's from Burnt Island Games, who brought us Endeavor Deep Sea, a game I really enjoy, and many other great games. And according to Board Game Geek, this is a first-time design for Yuval Grinspan, and it looks amazing. Also, I just found out that Yuval is a fellow Canadian. I mean, he does live on the wrong side of the country in Toronto, but I'll try not to hold that against him. The theme immediately pulled me in and the production looks beautiful, but it's really the gameplay mechanics I'm most excited about, a mix of worker placement and deck building. And it really seems like the deck building aspect builds up and fuels the engine behind your worker placement over time. I also love that the endgame scoring has lots of variability based on what occurs throughout the game that's really well woven into the theme. This should keep things fresh and replayable. The reviews I've seen online are also really pumping this one up, so it's definitely one I'll be beelining my way to at Origins. Only one spot from the top at number 2 is Galileo Galilei. Okay, this game is from the designer of SETI, a game that I played earlier this year and absolutely loved. Also, it's coming from Capstone Games, who occupy a lot of shelf space in my collection. Basically, killer designer publisher combo. I'm a sucker for ancient or historical themes done well. Games like Ezra and Nehemiah, Lisboa, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'll admit it, I love beige Euros. It's what I live for. I know Dan isn't quite as into them as me, and that's fine. We all have our own board game love languages. So here's what excites me about Galileo Galilei. It's got combos, multipliers, engine building, upgrading, all that Euro goodness that I'm here for. But what really intrigues me is this super interesting variable rondel action selection system that has both set and variable actions at each space. And also, you can upgrade these over time. This looks awesome. I love clever timing puzzles like that. Theme, production, mechanics, all signs point to a big heck yeah for me. Number 2 on my list. Also, Dan just did a review of this game a few weeks ago. You can click right here if you'd like to check it out. And at long last, in first place is Galactic Cruise Accommodations and Galactic Cruise Advancements. My number 1 isn't even a base game, and it's not even just one game. It is, however, 2 expansions for the same game. These are the 2 expansions for Galactic Cruise. Now, if you saw my review for Galactic Cruise that recently came out, you probably won't be that surprised that these expansions are number 1 on my list. If you didn't see that review, you can click here to check it out. Or, if you want to see an even way better review, click here to see the one that Dan did on the same game. But basically, this game really struck a chord with me, and I absolutely loved it. These 2 expansions, accommodations and advancements, add a bunch of new stuff to the game. Advanced worker tiles, new agendas, and twists that interact with the blueprint segments in really cool ways. There are a few things I'm especially excited about though. These are them. The starting cards that give you an early game boost, kind of like the prelude cards from Terraforming Mars, which, for the record, I would never play Terraforming Mars without those now, just in case you're wondering. I think these will be a really cool asymmetric quick start boost. I'm also really stoked about the alternate segment bonuses that reward you when your cruise ships spend a day in space. And lastly, I'm pumped to explore the modules in the Advancements expansion that upgrade locations and technologies throughout the game. This sounds awesome. These are all things that sound like they'll add even more strategy and replayability to a game that I absolutely already love. That's my list of the 10 games that I'm most jazzed to check out at Origins Game Fair 2025. There were others that were close, but these were the ones that really rose to the top. Drop a comment and let me know which games you're excited about on the Origins preview list. Also, if you're going to Origins, I'd love to meet you and maybe even play a game. Drop me a line on any one of these social media platforms and we can connect. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.